What can we copy from Rory Mcilroy's swing? Well, probably quite a lot. But the bit I want you to really focus on is his huge power source, how he delays his upper half when he fires his lower half at the start of the downswing, creating this huge stretch and amount of power. Make sure you check out this video. That one will definitely do me. More straight drives like that wouldn't go amiss. So today we're going to be discussing Rory Mcilroy's movement at the start of the downswing. Now this is a movement we actually see with really all the elite golfers. I think just Rory shows it so well. And it's this stretch that he creates between his upper half and lower half in the start of the downswing. So very quick bit of info. When Rory's hips get back to 0 degrees, that is when they get back to parallel to the target line. So they are opening up this way in the backswing, then they're closing, getting back to 0, and then opening on the way through. When he gets back to 0, which is almost his hips back to his setup position, his shoulders, his torso is still 40 degrees closed to the target line, okay? So that would be 90 degrees at right angles to the target. So shoulders are still back at 40 when his hips are at 0. So you can see, hopefully, the amount of stretch and coil that's creating on my body here. I can definitely feel it. I'm feeling like my upper body is staying facing away from the target while my lower body has rotated, and that's 0 there. So I've got to work a little bit harder to try and get anywhere near that. And that is a massive, massive power source. It's that X factor stretch or that disassociation that we're creating in the downswing. What we see with too many inefficient golfers is their upper body going the same time as their lower body, and actually the upper body catches up the lower body too early. The upper half, the torso, shouldn't catch up with the lower half until after impact. So by the time I'm just a couple of feet post-impact, my hips are, let's say, 30 degrees open, and my torso is caught up at about 30 degrees open. So I'm trying to get my lower half to outfire my upper half. Now, so I'm just going to need for this exercise a couple of alignment sticks. I'm just going to put one through my belt loops. If you breathe in a bit. Oh. One in between my feet at about 40-ish degrees close to the target line. So 90 would be there, so somewhere in the middle of that, 40, 45. And one high across my shoulders. Now I'm going to make a backswing, and that's my shoulders turned to 90 degrees or maybe slightly beyond that. And I feel that pressure onto my trail foot. And you can see my hips are almost matched up. This yellow line that is representing my hips is now almost parallel to this white line on the floor. That doesn't matter so much. But what I'm trying to do is get my hips back to 0. So this yellow torse stick that's across my hips, I'm trying to get it to go back to parallel to my toe line. But I'm almost going to try and feel like I keep my upper half closed, so I don't let this orange stick go beyond the white stick on the ground. There we go. So that's my backswing, that's my downswing. My hips are getting back towards 0, and my upper half is matching the white torse stick on the ground. That's what Rory's really feeling. And I think that's a good place to start. You may not be able to get as much as Rory, just see what you're physically able of, but get that feeling of actually creating some torque, creating some tension there between our upper half and lower half. We don't want everything moving together. We're really trying to separate with our lower body starting to rotate with our upper half. So I would also encourage you, while you've got these alignment sticks, to do a bit of a wacky disassociation exercise. I want you to try and turn your shoulders without your hips, and then turn your hips without your shoulders. So I'll look stupid just for camera so you don't have to. So try and turn your shoulders, but restrict hips. And I'll only be able to get about 20 degrees either way. The harder one is turn hips without my shoulders moving. So let's focus. So I'm starting to disassociate, and that's what we really want to start to feel in the golf swing, is that I can fire my lower half but delay my upper half. So just using that works very well. I could even then just pick up a golf club, get that same feel. So I'm almost trying to get these back to zero and feel like my shoulders stay closer to the white line that's on the floor. And I am a bit out of breath there. I guess two reasons: I'm talking while doing the exercise, but also I'm creating a certain amount of torque and tension in my golf swing. And that's what I really want you to try and get the sensation of here. Why would we do this? Well, power. If I was talking about a 30-yard pitch shot, I'd quite like to get the feel that my upper half and lower body work together at a similar speed, even if that's not quite reality. But when we're talking about power generating swings with irons and woods, especially the driver, we're really trying to create that separation. And as I said, you can ask someone to fire their lower half quicker, but I tend to get better results as a coach asking players to feel like they delay their upper body, almost like they feel like they keep their arms up at the start of the downswing or keep their back facing the target longer. If I was hitting to the camera here, try and get the feeling that I keep my upper body, my back facing the target for longer, that I'm not moving this way with my upper half. I'm almost delaying my upper half, and that gives me a little bit more time to fire my lower body and create that disassociation. So let's try and get that sensation. I'm not rushing with my upper half. I'm almost trying to feel like I delay my upper half as my lower half starts the downswing. Let's just use it as a feel. I'm not going to go really technical, just feeling like I keep my arms up a little bit longer. Definitely got the sensation that I left the arms up. Now in reality, I look back on camera and you go, God, you know, it's 0 point something of a second. It's a minute fraction, but the more we can feel like we delay the upper half, gives us that time to start to fire our lower half and doing those disassociation exercises. I'm going to try and hit this one harder, but again, I don't want the speed with the upper body at the top of the golf swing. So where do we generate the speed? Well, this torque that we're creating and this speed with the arms whipping down into the golf ball here. I have recently filmed a video talking about, or it's titled Whip the Golf Club. I'll put a link just here. I think it's well worth checking out, talking about this part of the golf swing, how the handle needs to be rising and the lead side extending. Big power source. Not going to touch on it much today in this video. So, let's see if I can generate a little bit more club head speed. That one was slower club head speed, but better ball speed. Let's give it a go. Delay the upper body. So although that was high out the head, it might not be my longest. It was a little bit towards the top of the club. Lovely straight shot. It felt quicker. It felt quicker, but I didn't feel like I went at it with my upper half. I still felt like that was lower half first. Just doing those exercises is really going to help you. I'm interested to see what the club head speed was, even though it definitely wasn't my most efficient strike. The ball speed was low. I thought it'd be quicker than that. It said 103. I thought it was a little bit more. I'm going to go for a misread. But 3 shots I'd definitely take in terms of direction, consider I'm using the driver there. Give it a go, definitely in practice first before you take something to the golf course. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to how a player like Rory, from a relatively small frame, actually generates a huge amount of speed. Try that exercise I showed at the start. See if you can get your hips back to zero, but still keep your upper body closed to the target line, so we're not getting our upper body back to zero. So we're really trying to feel that stretch between upper half and lower half. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give the thumbs up to this video and drop a comment below. It's good to hear from you guys. Any videos you'd like me to film, make sure you get in touch.